I want to bring in now Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California. He's a member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Hallie.
So overnight, you called the president's line on investigations a Nixon-like threat. Can you explain what you meant?
Of course, Richard Nixon said that Watergate should last no more than a year, and then basically about a year later, he was no longer president. And what Donald Trump said at his State of the Union was wildly inappropriate and, frankly, un-American. All members of Congress took an oath to the Constitution, and our framers set up the Constitution as three co-equal branches of government. Inherent in our legislative powers is to conduct oversight and investigations of the other two branches, and that's what the House of Representatives will do this year.
You heard Nancy Pelosi this morning talk about what you could call cautious optimism that if it were up to the conference committee, there may end up being a deal on immigration, maybe by the end of the week and before that February 15th deadline. Do you think there will be some kind of a deal struck in Congress on the border wall and on border security?
I am hopeful because for the last 2 years, we saw that Republican legislators, frankly, didn't care about the wall. And that's because it's inefficient and a wasteful use of money. I think it's fascinating that Donald Trump's going to go down to El Paso because the Republican member of Congress down there that represents El Paso opposes Trump's wall. So I think the appropriators on both sides could come together with a deal that might have some physical barriers, some additional border security at our ports of entry. And I think we could get to a deal, but it's not going to be the big, beautiful wall that Donald Trump envisions.
But I will say the president did seem to crack the door yet again that it's not going to be, he said the words, it's not going to be a big, solid concrete wall. He said smart, strategic, see-through, meaning slats. I know that some Democrats are open to the idea of fencing. Does it seem like that's the obvious solution? Put some fencing in place, everybody can call it what they want, and federal workers can go home knowing there's not going to be a second shutdown?
Because the president has been all over the place on his definition of a wall, that's why you're seeing the conference committee largely ignore the president. We're going to work together as members of Congress to come up with a deal that we think both sides can vote on, and then we'll put it on the president's desk and see what he does.
Let me broaden out to the idea that this was, in many ways, as you heard from our guest just before you with Stacey Abrams, maybe looking ahead to 2020 in a Senate run. President Trump seeming to look ahead to 2020 in the more political aspects of his State of the Union. You have already made your 2020 endorsement. You've now backed Kamala Harris. You've seen a lot of other Democrats jump into the race. Did you endorse too early?
Absolutely not. First of all the candidates on the Democratic side are fabulous and spectacular. I chose to endorse Kamala Harris because I've known her for many years. We've worked together on a lot of different issues, and she is smart, tough, and progressive. She's a perfect candidate to lead us in 2020.
Congressman Ted Lieu, please come back. I want to talk with you about North Korea and the upcoming second summit sometime soon, okay?